Hello everyone, welcome to Odoo Insider. So today what I would be like to talk about is first having a local installation of Odoo on our own device, and also the topic everybody loves, AI. So first, let's take a look at how we can use Docker to install Odoo on our own system. The point of using Docker is that you don't have to deal with all dependencies for building or running Odoo. So basically what you all have to do is run a few commands and then, well, you're all set. So to do just that, what we have to do is open our terminal right here. Make sure you have Docker installed. So you have Docker with -v, you can see its version. And also I have Docker Compose here, which actually I've installed it as a plugin for Docker as well, which is version 240. So in the before times, it was actually a standalone tool, but now we have it as a plugin for our Docker here. So first thing what we have to do is to make sure you have the image of Odoo on your own on your device. The way to do that is you could actually pull the image from Docker Hub. So we always try to release the most up-to-date version as an image on Docker Hub, but if you don't worry about it. Docker is going to take care of it. So first and foremost, what I would do is I would need to install a database. Now, if you already have a PostgreSQL database on your system or somewhere, you can actually use that. But in this example, we are assuming that you have nothing. You just want to have like a local installation of Odoo on your own device. So first what I'm going to do is going to create the database. So I'm going to go with docker run, which is the command to actually run the thing. And then what I'm going to do is use -d. So this one is for just running it as like a daemon or service, let's say, and that's how you have it running in the background, so you can just use it as is. Then what I'm going to do is I have to assign a bunch of environment variables. So these will be the username and password for our database. For simplicity's sake, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with Postgres user is Odoo, the name everybody loves. And then what I'm going to do is go with Postgres password, also Odoo. Another environment variable I would like to pass would be the database, like the PostgreSQL database, default DB of PostgreSQL installation, which I'm just going to call it Postgres. Then what we could pass is a name to our container so that we can easily see it, maybe inspect it, look at its logs. So I'm going to go with just DB. For this one, I'm going to install Postgres 15. You can install 16, 17. You can always check what's the latest version or the minimum version that Odoo supports for your particular version, and then you can just use that. So with this command, I would be able to run it. So let's see what the issue is. Always. So the repository name is that. I think what I'm missing is probably this. So I'm just going to do a few thing here. And all right, great. So now if we look at our processes in the Docker, we see that we already have PostgreSQL here. That's the name of that we assigned to it, and it's all good. So now that we have that, we can also check the logs as well. So the PS switch was to see the processes, to see a list of the containers that we already have up and running. Then we have Docker logs for the specific container that we can see actually the logs of. So here I can see that the init process is complete, ready for startup. Its database ready to accept connections. So that's very important. So if you don't see that at the end of your logs, that means that there's probably an issue, and maybe you want to address that before moving further. Then what we need to do is to actually run an instance of Odoo. So let's go with Docker, again, run. This time, I would actually want to assign a port to my container. So that's how Docker runs. You have containers, then inside the container, it's like the whole virtualization, it's a whole environment. And what you can do is to actually be able to assign ports that are forwarded from the container to your host machine. So that way, inside the container, there could be a lot of ports that are exposed, but you select which ones are actually exposed to the outside world. So for example, for our database, we don't actually have exposed any ports to the outside world. So we can actually connect to it through TCP IP or like through a port. So for the running Odoo, what we have to do is obviously assign a port to it. Now here, I don't want to actually expose it on my, like the whole network that I'm on, so that everybody from the office cannot actually connect to my instance. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to bind it to my local machine. Then the default port of Odoo is actually 8069. And then I'm just going to also bind it to the port inside the container. So this one is actually the port of the container. So 8069 here, that's the port that's inside the container. And this one is actually the one that's on my local device. So I could change this to something else. Let's say 8070, 8080, or whatever I want. So that's actually a way to change the port, like control the port that's exposed on your local machine. Now that you have the port, then what you need to have to do is to obviously name it. Let's name it Odoo. Now the part comes where you want to connect Odoo to its database. So you have the link command, which you can actually link the database to the container name database. And in the end, what I'm going to do is just going to run this Odoo and see how it goes. So what it's going to do is, as you can see, it's going to, like inside the container, so let's take a look at this log. So what's happening is that inside the container, we have the containers listening on, like binding on the 0000, which is the every single interface that's on there. But we don't care about that, but because what's happening is that on our local machine, we are only listening to on the 127.0.0.1, which is the local host. So now that we have this up and running, let's actually check whether we have it. So let's go here, localhost 8069, and now we have our Odoo instance. Now if we switch back to our terminal right here, you can see that it accepted some connections. You already see some logs here on everything that you have. And also the port that, also the database that's being used, you can see it here, which is the internal network of Docker. Now for Odoo, the first thing that you see on your on-premise installation is usually this screen, which is the database selector. So Odoo is a multi-tenant solution, which means that multiple parties can actually be on the same server. So you have the same server, people are connecting to it, and they can have their own separate databases. That's actually how we have Odoo Online SaaS. So here you just have to have like a master password. Here I'm just going to go with Odoo, very simple. And as for the database name, let's go with Odoo Insider. Email, just my own email, I guess, and password again Odoo. I think that should be enough to actually start a new database, and then you have demo data. You can also restore a database. That's also a possibility. So if you have a backup of your own online database, you can actually do that. So now I'm just going to go ahead and create it. This is going to take a while because it's going to install the database and then import the demo data and so on and so forth. But if I go to my instance here, you can see all that's happening in the log. So right now I'm just seeing the info logs. So these are just informational logs. What's happening? It's probably fetching some stuff from the file system, loading them into the database that we have. So now we have our instance of Odoo. Now this one is actually what we have here is the community edition. So if we go to our settings, and scroll all the way down, you can see that it's Odoo 19 Community Edition. Now the Community Edition doesn't have all the bells and whistles. Of course, if you're doing on-premise and you don't have a contract with Odoo, this is what you're going to get. Still great software. It's the core that everybody runs, and the enterprise module is just a lot of more functionality that in form of separate modules that we have. So that I would say is how you would run a local installation of Odoo. Of course, the next part comes that this is not maybe that handy to run your local installations. The reason is that, first of all, if you look at the Docker PS, now that I've exited my container, I actually have, I no longer have Odoo available here. So if I refresh, I no longer have it. I'm offline. So what I have to do, I could also run Odoo with like -d, which is the daemon or the service mode, and then it's going to be in the background just like my database, so that I can use it. But let's just quickly check all of them. So Docker PS-A, with that you can actually see everything, all the processes that you have, and I can see the statuses as well. So this one exited 34 seconds ago, and this one is up since 7 minutes ago. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove forcibly with -f my Odoo instance and also my DB instance. So now if I check again, I should not have anything Docker. So now what we want to do is to evolve to a next step, let's say, because just running it with like a simple command is not very reliable. Maybe we want to change some things, try things out. So that takes us to the next step, which is using Docker Compose instead. So Docker Compose is a tool, if you're not familiar with it, is just a tool that you can use in order to have config files and run containers in batches using those config files. A config file really is a YAML file, which we can just write ourselves. So I already have a YAML file for my, let's see here. So I already have like a Docker Compose file, and I'm just going to show you real quick how it works. So this is like, let's say, a more complete version that I have here. It has a lot of bells and whistles. You can actually reach this in on our public repository. So if you go to Odoo, so if you go to github.com, Odoo ps-local, you can actually pull this. So what you could do is just either download zip or use cloning either HTTPS or SSH, or if you have GitHub CLI, using that. You can actually have this on your local device. So when you download this and then you unzip it, what you're left with is going to be what we have here, which is these files, which are odoo.sh. That's the shell script which you can actually run this, and then you have the docker compose.yaml file. You also have a .environment file, which is explained thoroughly on this guide here as well. So what this does is going to allow you to run the last 3 major versions of Odoo automatically without no inputs basically from your side, to be able to run them and just have them on your local. We have a lot of BAs here, business analysts. So basically what they have to do is to analyze if a specific version of Odoo works for a client, and the way to do that is to be able to actually work with that version. So they go on the specific version of Odoo, see if the functionalities match the business needs. So this is like a thing that I've been asked a lot during the past couple of years. They would come in and say, okay, we have like this online infrastructure to actually do this, but sometimes it goes down because it's a shared environment, other people come and use it. So it may not be the best. That's why I built this script in order to help them have like a local instance of Odoo on their own database, on their own local machine, on their laptops, so that they can test it as much as they want without, let's say, external influences. So this is very easy. What you have to do is the initial setup. You have to run Odoo sh. just like that. So let's do just that. So I'm just gonna run odoo.sh. What it's going to do is going to check if you have Docker installed. Then it's going to install. If you have not installed Docker, then it's going to install Docker for you. It's also going to install Docker Compose for you, and then it's also going to detect the last version of Odoo. So right now it's 19. So if you run this next year, it's going to show 20. And then it's going to create an environment file with the last 3 versions, like version 17, 18, 19. You don't have to really care about that. And then it's going to run the Docker Compose file. Then it's going to create a database and create a container for each version of Odoo, and also networking between them. So it's going to handle basically everything for you. Now, if I go to my browser again, what's going to happen is that if I go to localhost, and the way I've structured this is that you can go 80 and then the number of the version that you want to check. So let's say I want to check version 17. I'm going to go 1817, and then I will see this. If I want to check maybe version 19, then all I have to do is change 17 to 19, and that's it. So going through all the steps to actually install Docker, then Docker Compose, then you have to deal with like creating your own containers. That's going to take a lot of time from you. The time you could be using otherwise just using Odoo, learning how it works. So I would say this script would be a very handy tool for you to run on-premise, run your own instance of Odoo. By default, this does listen on all ports. So if we check our Docker PS here, you can see that what's happening, that it is listening on ports for your 8017, 8018, and 8019. And the reason for this is, again, our BAs might go on site to a client, and what they would do is they need the client to actually see the database that they've set up. So they can set things up on their own laptop, then go there, and then when they connect to the Wi-Fi of the client can just connect to their laptop and see what they've done on their database. So here is basically the script. Also, we're using Postgres 16, as you can see here. And so let's go back to the Docker Compose file. So this has a lot of, let's say, advanced functionalities of Docker Compose. We have a logging. So here, first, we are having like a snippet of code which basically controls how logging works. The reason for this is that Docker usually unrestrictedly is just going to gather all the logs, and that might not be something you want. So here we have the max size and the max number of files that the Docker is going to use for each container. So each container is going to have 10 megabytes of logs, and then it's going to have 3 log files that's going to rotate between them. So it's going to be log number 1, 2, and 3, and then it's going to overwrite the first one. So you always have the last 3 files to look at, and if there are any issues, that can be easily checked. Then you have the basis of the configuration for Odoo. So here we have, first of all, any Odoo container should depend on the database. Then I actually have a condition here which checks whether the database is actually healthy or not. So this allows to be able to not run into issues where the database is not up yet, but your Odoo instance is up, and then you have issues, you have errors, you're getting errors on the other side, and you don't know what's happening. So this actually helps with that. Then we have the environment. So for the environment variables, what I have is I have the host, which is the database, obviously. Then you have the username and password, which by default are Odoo, and then you have extra add-ons, design, and enterprise. Then this restart unless stopped. What this is going to do is to keep the containers running. Even if you restart your system, you still are going to get them up and running the next time around. So you don't have to always be running the script every time on when you install things. Then you have something here, which is the logging. So here I'm just using, so this syntax simply uses the already defined snippet here, which is the configuration for logging. And then in the end, I have a network called OdooNet, which is again inside here. So this is actually the network defined here. So OdooNet driver is a bridge. So you can just take that as is to create like a network between your containers. So maybe you want to try synchronization between two versions of Odoo databases. This actually allows you to do that because inside your containers, they also can see each other. So they can actually do that as well, which would be something interesting to try. Then you have volumes. So in Docker, you are creating containers on the fly. And if you create it with the command that just the way that I showed you, the issue is going to be that you don't actually save the data. So the database, if it goes down, the container, that's it. When you restart it again, then you don't actually have the data. So you have to have somewhere to store those data. And in Docker, what we have are volumes. So volumes are, let's say, directories or drives that you can think of, places on the disk that Docker actually saves the data there from the container. So container is running the code, everything, the dependencies, basically its own operating system. And Docker just saves that to a specific file on your disk so that you don't lose the data. So here we are just saving the database data. So we just are saving the database, the Postgre database that we have. The data on that is going to be stored on this volume. Then here we have our services. So our services are first and foremost, obviously, a PostgreSQL database with these configuration. We are using PostgreSQL 16, which should be okay for all versions of Odoo or major versions of Odoo that we currently have. Then we're just going to give it a name and, of course, setting up its passwords and stuff. And this is where we are actually using the volumes. So the OdooDB data is going to store things in data, so PostgreSQL. So this is the path inside the container that is going to be brought up. And then here you have the OdooDB data, which is the name of the volume on your side. And Docker will handle the rest, basically. Now you have the restart, which is, again, we were over this. Logging, that's the same. Network is going to be the same part as that network. And then here is the health check that I mentioned. So this, what it's going to do is going to run this command in shell to make sure that, so every 10 seconds and with a time of 5 seconds and with 5 retries, it's going to check whether your database is up and running. So every 10 seconds, it's going to check. If it doesn't work, it's going to wait for 5 seconds. Another try, it's going to again check. And so it's going to take 5. So basically, every 10 seconds, it's going to check. And it's going to wait for 5 seconds for the answer. If it doesn't work, it's going to wait for another 10 seconds. And then, of course, a maximum of 5 retries. Because if it's going to retry 5 times and your database is not up and running, there's probably an issue. Then here we have the configurations for the Odoo instances. So what we have is you actually have Odoo 1, 2, and 3. This one is the least version. That's the the latest version, let's say. And what we have here is that you have the version that you're going to run with. So here version 1 would be let's say 17. Then you have the container name so that it names it appropriately. So even if I go here, you can see that my containers are like Odoo 17, Odoo 18, Odoo 19. So it's very easy for me to distinguish between them. And now comes another use of volumes, which is using it to link it to a specific path on your local machine. Now, this is very useful when there is like a file inside your container and you actually want to link it to an external file on your device. So here I'm just using, I'm just linking the extra add-ons, design and enterprise passes inside the container to the corresponding version on my local machine. So what I'm going to do here is actually, if I'm going to check, the script actually created for me 17, 18, 19. And if I go to each of them, I see that there is a custom, design, and enterprise. So as I mentioned, Odoo's enterprise module is basically just a list of like a 1.8 million, I think, lines of code, which are separated into various modules. And to run, to use all the power of Odoo, let's say, it's best to try to have the enterprise license and actually get all those modules. So if you do have a contract with Odoo, what you could do is you will go to github.com/Odoo. So this version of Odoo is actually public, which is the one that the community edition that we just installed. However, there's another version, there is another repository here, which is called Enterprise. Now, this is actually a private repository, so you do need to have the contract with Odoo so that you get access to it through that. But there's also another called design themes. So design themes are mostly the themes that you have. They're also just a bunch of modules. These are sort of the modules that you have so that you can actually make things, let's say, prettier. It's mostly stuff that, like, there's shapes and stuff like that. So you can also use this next to your Odoo installation. Just make sure you're downloading the correct version. So here, if I want to do it for version 17, I have to go to version 17 from here. So this doesn't really require, let's say, knowledge on the Odoo side. Then I'm just going to download zip. And then you have the design themes being downloaded. So now that I've downloaded it, what I could do is I'm going to cut this, go to my directory, which is inside tools, I believe, and local Odoo 17. I'm gonna put it here, then extract it, and then I'm going to delete this one. So now I have design themes here. However, these have to be inside the directory. And when I put a new add-on inside the directory, what I have to do is I need to restart my database. So if I go here, there's actually a hint here. After you run your Odoo, like the Odoo sh shell script, what you have to do is you have to not forget to restart it after you add new modules. So now that I've added design themes, I want to also add enterprise. So let's say I have a contract with Odoo and I do have access to enterprise. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to the enterprise 3.17. So that's the 17 version of Odoo. This is what you have to be careful with, that you are downloading the correct version. So don't put the enterprise 18 in the 19 directory. Again, I will do the same thing. I'm going to download zip, probably like 100 megabytes, this one as well. And once that's done, I can actually do the same thing. You can actually do this for your custom add-ons as well. Maybe you download them from the Odoo App Store. Maybe you just create them yourself. You can also put your add-ons here as well. This is obviously not a development build, so this script is not aimed at developers. It's mostly built at everyone. So whoever wants to have like a functional version of Odoo available on their own local system, and on obviously the last 3 major versions, because that's mostly what's used for testing. Of course, you can tweak this Docker Compose file in order to create it, just do one version. And after you have done one version, you can simply make things run. And then if you have a reverse proxy, you can actually forward traffic to your Odoo container as well. So you can basically host Odoo on premise. But there's, of course, a lot more involved in hosting your own on-premise solution, especially if you have developments. That's why we have Odoo SH. So Odoo SH is our, let's say, cloud platform. It's mostly for projects that actually do want developments. So this is something that you might want to look at without having all of us. But of course, right now, what we're focused on is just having a functional version of Odoo on our own local so that we can try things out. So I believe my enterprise edition is okay. So I'm just going to take this as well to the directory that I have. So local 17, and I'm just going to put it here, and then I'm going to extract it. Of course, I could use extract to as well, but it's more comfortable for me this way, I guess. So I'm just going to cut these, put them in enterprise, and then I'm going to remove this. So now I have both design themes and enterprise add-ons for my local Odoo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with Odoo sh-r. I'm not in the correct directory, so I'm just going to go back and see if I'm there. I am. And what it's going to do is just going to restart all the containers. So now if I go to my 17 database, let's go there. What I will have is that I will have access to the new version, like the enterprise modules. So let's go there and see. I think we have already created a database, but I'm gonna just create another one. So Odoo, that's the master password. Let's go with 17, I guess, and then my own email. Again, Odoo, English, and then here I'm gonna go with not Belarus, but Belgium. Demo data, and then I'm just gonna create a database again in version 17. Of course, you can always check your containers here. You can also check the logs to see what's happening under the hood. Maybe if there's like an issue or something, you would be able to spot it early on. And now I have access to my Odoo instance, and I believe it's this and Odoo, hopefully. All right, great. I believe this is still the community edition. So let's check if something went wrong. Okay. So so I'm going to troubleshoot these, but in the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to maybe answer some questions to have like a change of pace. So what we're going to do is let's go take it from the top. So we have the not exactly question, but I love building websites with Odoo. Well, I do too. And in the second segment, we will also check what AI has to offer us, and also we could maybe use that in our websites on Odoo as well. Then we have what's the hiring process in your organization? So our hiring process usually revolves around you going to odoo.com/jobs. So here is you have like the positions here you can actually apply on. Then you also have like some events. Maybe you could pop to see the general vibe of the company, to see how things go. And of course we have the video here that they've taken from like inside Odoo to see actually how things work here. You also see the address and like the department that you will be going for. I'm assuming like you meant the software engineering positions. Yeah, we have a lot of those, but we also have other positions as well. You just apply here, you can go through the process of being able to get hired. So for software engineers such as myself, what we do is basically after we apply, we get like, let's say, a small test to make sure that we actually are capable of moving forward with the interview. Then what we are going to do is having a chat with the HR to see like everything is aligned, and then you will have the technical interview. That's the actual interview that you will need to pass for being hired as a developer. On that interview, mostly what we are going to look for in you is that you can solve problems. So problem solving skills, that's the first thing, the most important thing that you need to have. Then you have maybe some system design questions to be able to actually conceptualize a system. Then what you have to do is just use your own whatever programming language that you like. You can use that to be able to solve the solution. So you have to have like a working code that solves the answer, solves the problem that you are presented with. Other than that, I would say just good luck because the hiring rate, especially at least on software developers, I know is quite low. But I think with enough practice and also like if you really have the core of the thing at heart, in mind, which is you just want to have a working understanding of problem solving in software. I think that helps you the most. After you're hired, we actually in Odoo we use so on the stack side, let's say, we use Python on the back end and JavaScript on the front end. So even if you don't have prior knowledge to this, that's fine, because you don't actually need to know that much about Python or JavaScript to get started, because we have our own frameworks. So both for Python and JavaScript, we have our own in-house frameworks. So it doesn't matter if you already have experience with React or Django. It's not going to really help unless you get onboarded specifically on Odoo. So we actually do have technical trainings as well. So we have technical training Odoo. Let's see if we actually can find this. I think that's the correct one. That is not. So what I'm gonna do is just gonna go to odoo.com. In the community, here you have service for partners. So partners are companies that are, aside from Odoo, they provide like services to clients, maybe to cater to their needs. This is also another avenue where you can work with Odoo, be in the Odoo ecosystem, maybe work for a partner for a few years and then maybe apply to Odoo. That's also a possibility. So the services we offer to our partners are also trainings as well. And the core of the material, which is the technical trainings, is actually open to the public. So if you go to this page and then e-learning and also this one, you can see the technical trainings. So this one is actually the base training, the Python one, and this one is the JavaScript one. So Python and JavaScript, those are the two major technical trainings that we have, more to come. So these two trainings are what you could actually take, but do note that taking these doesn't really impact your hiring process. The hiring process doesn't gauge you for whether you know Odoo development or not. So that doesn't really matter. As long as you can solve the problems, even if you don't know these, when you join, you will be onboarded on these concepts. Then there is like another question again regarding that, which is how can an advanced salary be deducted automatically at the end of the month? Additionally, what if the employee borrows a loan and wants 5% deducted from his salary every month? So I'm not sure if this is like a functional question or a question related to us basically. Is it like a Odoo as a company question? And honestly, I wouldn't be able to answer that either way, because if it's like a functional question, then hopefully somebody like a accounting expert comes in on Odoo Insider can ask them. And if it's a question regarding Odoo, what I can offer you is this. So you have the salary configurator here. You can put in how many years of experience that you have. So let's say you have 5 years of experience for the software developer job. You can actually check the average salary. You can also see the whole comprehensive package here, play around to see what you're going to get if you work for Odoo. So this is actually something that might interest you to check regarding the hiring process as well. Next we have how add unit of measurement in Odoo Pose application. There is not display by multiple unit of measurement features in Pose. So again, like this is mostly a functional question. I would just wait for someone from the experts, one of our BAs comes on Odoo Insider. I can ask them how that works. To my knowledge, that's probably being added, I think. I saw a PR regarding that, but hopefully it gets merged in the next version of Odoo if it already hasn't. Then we have, can you show complete flow of adding custom modules starting from development and development branch to, could you lower it, please? Yes, thank you. No worries. From a development branch to staging to production branch. Okay, that's actually a question that I can answer. And that's basically, it depends. So are you choosing Odoo SH, which is the cloud platform, or are you using your own infrastructure? So if you're using your own infrastructure, basically you have to have maybe all the bells and whistles from our side, which is so on Odoo SH you have a lot of stuff. Let's see if I can find a project that I can show here. Maybe someone who's not active anymore or something. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but let's just go with the first one, I guess. So this is a company in Belgium, actually. So in Odoo SH, you have 3 sections. You have production, staging, and development. So you only can have one production branch called main. That will be in the major version that you're currently at. Then you will have staging branches, depending on your requirements. You may have multiple. And then you have development branches, which are used to test things in isolation. So the flow goes like this. You have, first of all, you're going to create a production branch, obviously. That's your public version that everybody sees, your internal users work with, and also the public on your main domain. Then you have staging branches, which is one of them must be isoprod, at least, which is a staging branch where you can do a release at any time that you want on production. Now, the reason we do this is that you always have like a stable branch. It's tested, everything is okay. So every time that you want, it's going to be able to rebase those commits on your production branch. Then you have maybe a bunch of other stagings. Those could be used to test with data. So in Odoo, it's not just the code. So you are developing and maybe your code works on a fresh database, but then on the customer's database or your own database with the data that are currently residing in your database, it's not going to work. Maybe there are some issues. So the flow is like this. You create from the isoprod, which is your staging. You're going to create a new development branch, do your developments there, add the code, play around, and then test it on the development branch. So you go to the development branch, you connect, and then you actually see the database. You actually work with it if it's working. So here there is no data. Then you basically cherry pick it on one of these databases, on one of these branches. So a non-isoprod branch, so let's say testing branch. I'm going to cherry pick it there and then test it there again. So in Odoo, we basically work with, again, business analysts, BAs. So we write the code and they actually do the testing to make sure everything is working on the functional side as well. Then if it's functionally validated on the branch as well, on the staging branch, that means that, okay, this is there's a low risk of this actually going to production, and that's that. So then we are going to create a pull request from our development branch to the isoprod staging branch, and that's what's going to do is going to have someone come there and do a code review. So if you're doing like in-house development, that's the best approach. You have somebody who's reviewing the code and somebody who is writing it, because somebody who's writing it's too close to the problem. They might not see the big picture, and the other person, the reviewer, can come in and actually take a look at things from a broad perspective. And if there are any issues, there's going to be on the pull request, you're going to have some back and forth, and then you're going to merge it to staging. And then it's always best to, before releasing to production, again, test on staging to make sure nothing has broken. Now, on Odoo SH, you actually have access to tests, so you can actually run tests on your, so tests are being run, and also if there's like an error or a warning, you can actually see them. So here, for example, it's just a simple warning that like 2 labels on 2 fields don't match, which is fine, I guess. And then you also have, if your Odoo database is too big, you might have build timeout, which is the maximum number of hours that this is going to run. A build is going to run is 2 hours. So here we have basically disabled tests, and the reason for that, we actually have another infrastructure called runbot, that is controlling, like that's basically running builds to check the tests. So for example, here for this very project, I actually have a Rombot here. So I'm just going to go here and then go to Rombot, not Odoo. Okay. So PSX ROM. So you don't actually have access to this. This is like something that we have built for our own, and this is basically relatively what it looks like. So we have like the branches here, whether it's failing or not. You can go to the build to see what the errors are. So these are all the errors that hopefully somebody is going to fix. You can actually run your own Rombot. So if you go to Odoo, go to GitHub and /Rombot, to my knowledge, oh wait, sorry, Odoo, then Rombot. Yes, it is actually a public repository. So you can run this. So this is just a module on that you can install on a community edition. So on your community edition that you have on your system, you can actually have this, and what's going to happen is that you can basically like set up Nginx on it, and like there's a whole instructions here. This is going to take a while for you, but the Rombot, the power of Rombot is that it's going to just, every code that's pushed, you will have a separate build for it, and on that you will see all the logs. So if there are any issues, any errors, you will spot them when the change was made. That makes it so much easier to spot errors. Now you do have this on a limited degree, so if you don't have, like, your project's not super big, you can actually do this on SH as well. So if the SH runs some tests, you will see the errors here as well. So maybe I can go to another project and see if I can find some errors somewhere. Not this one. Oh, okay, perfect. You have some errors here. There you go. So this project actually is not that big. So you have like the builds are instead of 3 hours, they take like a minute, an hour most. And here you can actually see the issues that are there. So these are all the broken tests that, again, somebody hopefully has to fix. So that's basically the process that we have for development, from like development branch all the way to production. That's the correct process. Of course, before that, you do need the technical trainings. So if these technical trainings are not enough for you, you can always request from like the PS Tech department. You can actually request trainings. And then, of course, what you have is the smart classes. These are also held, I believe, before OXP, a few days before OXP, so you can also attend this annually. Then, other than that, yeah, if you have any questions, you can just open a ticket with us, and we will be more than happy to answer you. So let's go perhaps to the next question, which is again a functional question about unit of measurement in point of sales. Again, I think that's something for our functional people who like Antoine can probably answer that way better than me. So that will have to be there for the next Odoo Insider probably. So I believe on the Docker side, that's we are basically covered. We went through Docker Compose, and also how we can actually use things. We went through the Docker Compose thing. So with this, you can actually, it is possible to run your on-premise solution. It is possible, but you have to also have another component, which is a reverse proxy. Now, some of the interesting reverse proxies that we have, like Traffic, Nginx, among others. So you can actually have a, so the way it would look like is that, let's see if we can maybe conceptualize this in Excalibur. And I think it's .com. Okay, so this is something that I've done before, I guess. That's interesting. So let's go with a new one, which is, Actually, you know what? I may need this, so let's just move over. So what's going to happen is that you have basically Docker here, and Docker is running your containers, everything inside your server, and each of these have like a thing here. So you have the database, then you have the maybe another container, which is Odoo, and then you have another which is maybe another version of Odoo, maybe. So with this, what you are able to do is you are able to actually let's write it here. So that's the database, and maybe that is Odoo, and the other one is something else, I guess. Then what we have is we need to have some way to actually forward traffic to this. Obviously, we can open this to the public. Not a very good idea. What you have to do is have a reverse proxy, like let's say Nginx. And the goal of the reverse proxy is that it's going to get traffic from the outside world. So you have internet here. And then the internet is going to forward its traffic to your Nginx installation like this, and then it's going to go through Nginx to your Docker container, let's say, which is Odoo. So this is basically the typical request that's going to go through, and then it's going to obviously send a response back to the client as well. Now this would be the minimal of what you have in an on-premise installation. So you have containers running here, very easy, with also the script. It's going to be quite easy with the Docker Compose. You have the Nginx that can also be a Docker container as well. So this Nginx doesn't have to be like a standalone thing. And then obviously you have the internet connecting to your server. So that would be also, this could be different servers. So you have your database could be an infrastructure as a service, like a separate entity. Your Odoo container could also be something you're just running, and then Nginx could also be something inside Docker. So this is basically what you would have for an on-premise installation of Odoo. However, if you want to have developments, then you need to use a version control, like Git, like what we have here. And on Git, what you have to do is still do the same thing the process that I described, which is you have development branches, staging branches, a pre-prod, and then you have the production, and go through all the process properly. Because if you don't do that, you're going to face some issues down the line, and makes the code less maintainable, more error prone, and so on and so forth. So I would say that is it for the segment 1, I would say. I think that's probably enough. In the next segment, what we're going to do is we are going to take a look at AI in Odoo. You already may have seen AI using like auto completions and stuff like that, but what we are going to do is to go beyond that, especially try to use AI tools, try to embed them in our actions, and maybe have some automations there as well. Well, thank you very much for being with us for that first segment. In the next segment, what we are going to do is take a look at AI in Odoo. We have integrations with two major LLMs, OpenAI and Gemini on Google, and we're going to use those in Odoo to see how we can improve the way we work with Odoo. But before that, we had a question from the previous section, which is to share the links for the repositories. Of course, we have the first one, which is this. So it's Odoo PS. Maybe I should put it on a big text editor. We can obviously share this on LinkedIn afterwards, perhaps. So this is the link to the first one. Let's make it a bit bigger, if that's possible. If I'm not sure if that's possible. Ah, there it is. Okay, great. Yes, so that's So Odoo PS is the department within Odoo for professional services, customizations, and so on. And slash local, that's what you get for the Odoo SH. So I will be also updating this probably to make it even better. If there are any issues, please do raise them in the issues section of this repository. So you have this here. Then what we have is the repositories for enterprise. Now this one you get access if you have a contract with Odoo. So this one I don't think needs to be shared. If you go on the Odoo's GitHub account, so this is the main Odoo GitHub account. Odoo is the public one, which is the core of Odoo basically. Then you have the enterprise and also design themes. The other thing that I mentioned was regarding Runbot. So if you again search here for Runbot, you will see that we have like a public repository for Runbot. Now this is not the easiest thing to set up, but if you want to have advanced developments and have like a clear workflow of all the builds and like things that are happening, logs for every build, so you can actually run this on your own as well. And it does not actually require enterprise. But I mean, if you have developments of that scale, you probably have enterprise as well. So these are the major repositories I would say that we have. You can also check, so Docker Hub Odoo, I think that's the one. So this is the official image of Odoo. You can also see the examples that we used earlier. Here, there's also rudimentary Odoo, like Docker Compose configuration here. You can also use this. So this was the more advanced version of this is available on the local thing, but this also you can use to run Odoo instances as well. Also here you can see that we are the major versions that we're supporting, so 17, 18, and 19. These are the ones that you can actually host. So the last three versions are always the versions that Odoo officially supports. And this one is going to just install all of them for you basically, so that you have access to all of them. It's going to create a bunch of directories next to your installation, so that you can put the enterprise. If you have custom add-ons, you can put them in the custom directory, and if you want design themes, you can also put them there as well. But that's something that you have to do manually by going to the repositories which are on odoo.com, on GitHub of Odoo, and then you go to either enterprise or design themes. You go to the version that you desire. So here, don't forget to choose the correct version. And then you just download them as zip, unzip them, put them next to your files, and it should work after a restart. So that's basically, let's say, a recap of what we had before. Now let's go to AI. So what we have for AI in Odoo is basically you have, let's actually go for the on-premise version of that. So I personally don't run because like I do developments, I don't exactly run my things with Docker. So I'm just going to remove them, but I think we already have in the script we have something for it. So let's go with odoo-delete. Yeah. So we are deleting all the Docker containers here. I also have installed my PostgreSQL manually on my own device. So you have the PostgreSQL here. I also have installed an extension on the PSQL. So if you go to your PSQL here, the first thing that you need to run AI obviously is the latest version of Odoo, which is Odoo 19, which I will run in a second. But before that, you need to install pgvector. So pgvector is actually a extension of Postgres, so Postgres pgvector. So you can actually see it here on how to install it. This is something that you can also, I would say, install in Docker as well, on your Docker installation. But here I'm just going to use my local PostgreSQL server. So no Docker on this part. So yeah, here you can see the how you can get started. So you can just use create extension vector. I already have the PG vector installed. So now what I'm going to do is just going to run Odoo. And to do that, I'm going to use a handy tool called Odoo. So this was developed by some colleagues. This is not an official tool of Odoo, but you can find it here. So you go to github.com, odoo-dev, odoo-odev, then Odoo. So this is another link perhaps you might find interesting, which is this. So both of them are GitHub repositories, yes. And this is the, let's say, as an Odoo technical services member or partner, automate common tasks retrieved to working with Odoo databases locally. Now this is more targeted at developers. It has some extensions and it's going to help you like run your Odoo, like manage your Odoo databases, your code bases, stuff like that. So you also have some plugins here. We have also the translations, like generate Odoo module translated using AI, which is also an extension on this. So you also have the scaffolding module, which is you can actually have like a technical specification of a something like a development, and then you can use this to create code for it. Now obviously the code created using AI, like vibe coded let's say code, might not work, might have some issues, but then your developer could come in. But this is mostly used as a time saver rather than just a straight up something that you would use as replacement for a developer, let's say. So yes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use odev run, and I'm just going to run my AI database. So that's just the name that I've given to the database. That's nothing important. This is not a command. This odev run is the command, and AI is the name of the database. And I have a database in 19, as you can see here. And I'm running it on my local without Docker. So now that we have that up and running, let's go to our database here, which is localhost 8069. That's the default port that's being run on. I have some nice websites here for those who love the website editor. You can see it's a very beautiful website I have on my local. So let's sign in as admin and go to the backend. So this is obviously I also have the enterprise edition. The reason for that is actually AI is part of the enterprise code base. You don't have it available in community. So if you're on 19, so let's make sure that we are, so Odoo 19 enterprise edition, then you have access to AI. I've installed a bunch of other stuff here. The first thing that you may notice is this widget on the top bar that you have, which is this one. So this is your AI assistance. You can actually talk with it. Let's say, let's see if my API key still works. So yeah, hello, it's going to, how can I help you today? In order to use your own API keys, you can actually use this setting over here. So you can use ChatGPT and Gemini. These are the providers that we actually support. I would personally go with OpenAI. So right now I'm using Gemini because it does have a free tier. ChatGPT does not. However, you can actually use the credits to have like a pay-as-you-go service on ChatGPT, and just connect your credit card and lose a lot of money, I guess. So yeah, you can actually toggle this, put the key in, and it's going to use it. For our purposes, we're just going to use Gemini for now. So this is actually just sent a request to Gemini. Now, the capabilities of AI in Odoo, they just don't end here. You probably already have seen in the mail template, I think it was also available in version 18, where you can just go there and just write the email with that. But that's not something we are going to discuss today. Those are very basic features. You can also just copy paste, like this bar over here is handy, but you can also maybe open like another tab and chat with the AI there. What we really want to look at are the capabilities of AI when you're doing like inside Odoo itself. Mainly, we want to explore the actions that we can take, automations that we can do, and perhaps computed fields using AI or similar things. So for that, unfortunately, we have to switch to a trial version of Odoo. So this is my local installation. The issue is that most of these features actually work with ChatGPT, not Gemini, because of Gemini's, let's say, limitations. But this is something I just want to go over, that on-premise you can also run AI, and if you have the API keys, you can actually try it over there. So it's not something that you have to be online to use this. You can use this on your own on-premise server as well. So I actually have a database here. I don't think okay, I'm logged in, perfect. So this is actually a trial database. You can also create a trial database to try things out for yourself. So we have here both the ChatGPT and Gemini, let's say Odoo trial keys that we have. Here we also have, let's say, go with hello, and it's going to give us back. So let's just see our first example. Let's say you have a specific thing that you need AI to do for one of your models. Let's go to a sale order. And here, actually, let's go to a product instead of sale order. I think that would be more interesting. And let's go to the cheeseburger. That's one of the, so if you leave it empty, that's one of the first default things that you have is the cheeseburger. Everybody loves cheeseburger, I guess. And here, we're going to use Studio. So I'm just going to click Studio. That's also another tool that we have for, let's say, no-code solutions for small fields here and there, small adjustments that you might make. And in Odoo 19, what you have is this AI field. Now, this is not available in the previous versions. You can just drag and drop here and then choose the type of the field that you want. So here I'm just going to use multi-line text. And here you can actually give it a prompt. So for the prompt, you can also use the fields that you have on the record as well. So let's say I choose this, the field selector, and here I have access to all the fields, including the name. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert this here. I'm going to say write a marketing description based on name. I'm going to add that field in. Then I'm just going to go with description. Yeah, that's perfect. And I'm just going to close Studio. So now I've added a AI field, an AI computed field. And if I click on the AI, you can see the loading on the other side. It actually sent the request, the prompt to ChatGPT, and then got a result, which is this: savored classic taste of our cheeseburger featuring a juicy beef patty topped with melted cheese, and so on and so forth. So that's how you can actually integrate AI. So right now somebody had to write this, so you need to have someone there to actually write this, but now they can actually add your products faster and easier using this computed field. Now that's something I would say a lot of people might find it interesting to add to their workflow. I do urge you not to go overboard with this. This is not like AI is basically not that predictable, so you need someone to actually double check something. So that's why we have this button here. It's not automated. You can actually go with a refresh value. However, what if we do want automation? So in Odoo, we have a bunch of types of actions. So we have automation rules. So if you have developer mode on, so developer mode can be from the settings. You can go to activate developer mode here. I've already activated it. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to automation rules, which is here. And here, as you can see in this interesting tutorial that we have over here, that you can define a trigger in the system. So when something happens, do something else or do a bunch of stuff. This is a type of server action that we have. I mean, not typically, but type of action that we have. Apart from this, we have also scheduled actions, which are crons. So scheduled actions are things that basically every interval, let's say every hour, you want something checked, you want something done, you're going to use a cron, which is a scheduled action. And the last type of action that we have, which both those previous actions use, is a server action. So server actions are a way that you can write code inside Odoo or do stuff. Let's say you can update records, create them, duplicate them, create an activity. So you don't actually have to write code for them. You can also use any of these types of actions as well. And this can actually be used in another like scheduled action or automation, or it can be used as is. So let's say you have like just send an email, then you create a button, connect that to this action, and actually use it. So knowing that you have like those three types of things, that all of them at the end is going to run a server action, what we are going to do is just simply have an automation in place. So that's the goal, to grab a just generate maybe a number, generate like a let's say perhaps a price for the current product, or we could also try grabbing the price from a specific source, a specific website. That might also be interesting. So here I have let's say let's go to the odoo.com, and let's go to see if we have anything here that we can do as a price. So you have the pricing over here for standard, custom, and one app free. Let's try and see if we can actually use it. Now I'm not sure if this number can be used. I think it's a bit of a HTML thing. So let's check if that's something. I mean, 19 is there, so I would say that's good enough. So yeah, let's try to find the number, like the price of the standard thing from here. Let's see if Odoo can actually, the AI can actually do it. So I'm gonna go with pricing, and in my standard action in the cheeseburger, for example, actually let's go to the standard one, I guess. And here I'm going to create another computer field. So you have that, and instead of using an AI field, I'm just gonna insert a monetary field here. And what I'm gonna do is name it AI price, but do note that this is not an AI field, not yet. And then I'm just gonna close it. But I mean, I do already have a sales price, so actually, you know what? Let's just use that. I'm just gonna remove this. So let's just directly set the sales price. What can go wrong? So what I have to do first, I have to know how AI actually works in Odoo, how it was integrated. So for Odoo, you have AI agents. You can define agents here, and each agent can actually have, so if you go to the configuration, you can define a model for it. So right now we are supporting GPT 3.5 Turbo up all the way up to 5 Mini, and also Gemini 2.5, Flash Pro 1.5, Flash at 1.5 Pro. So these are the models that we currently support. You can also have like response styles depending on the LLM that you have. You might have some settings over here. You can also restrict it to sources, but it's AI, so the restrict to sources is just you're telling it to be restricted to the sources, which are down here. So this can actually be used to build maybe a chatbot on your website as well. So you can people can chat with it. You have like add like a bunch of sources here, and what you have is basically you can either upload a file, add a link, or use your own Odoo knowledge base so that it can answer questions of either the users, so your internal users can use this, and your website users can also use the chatbot to be able to get those answers. So each AI can also, like AI agent, has like basically this whole system prompt over here, which tells it what to do, how to behave. So you have to be very careful about this context, because all you can do with AI is just give it context And when the input comes in, that will also be content to context, and you get the output. So if your system prompt is has issues, or there are gaps in it, that could be problematic. Then you have topics here for each AI agent. So topics are basically instructions and tools that guide the AI to actually complete user tasks. Now, this might at first glance be looked at as simply tags, but that's not exactly it, not really, because when you want to create a new one, sure, there's like a title, there's like the instruction, which is the prompt, but what we are looking for is this, AI tools. So AI tools, because I'm in the developer mode, you can actually see the relation, which is the last thing that you see on the pop-up over here, which is a server action. So at the end of the day, you can actually give server actions to your AI agents to use. So these are the tools that the AI agent will be using, and we'll be creating just one tool that to demonstrate how it works. So here you can actually give it tools, and for example, the default tools are here. You have the adjust search, you have fields, you can get like open a specific menu. So I already know that probably if I tell the AI to open a specific view, it can do it for me, because this agent does have the tools for it. So I go here and say open product list. Probably what it's going to do is open my product list, so I don't have to actually find it. So this would be something interesting for your internal users. So now let's get to business, I guess. Let's go to server actions and create an AI tool. So here you go with new AI tool. Let's say I'm gonna go with update product price. It's not a bad idea to follow the standard convention, which is put like an AI behind the server action, so it's you know that it's about it's an AI tool. I'm going to choose my model, which is a product, and here what I'm gonna do is I'm going to update a record, and I think because I'm a developer, I think I'm just going to use execute code to update the record, because I'm trying to create like an AI tool. So first of all, you have to, in the usage, you have to use in AI, and a short explanation of what this does would probably help. And here you have the AI schema. So what you have here is you're building a tool for the AI so that it can pass parameters to it and get stuff from it. Now, if we check an already existing server action about AI, so let's go here, search for server actions with AI, and I'm gonna go with like the one with read group, for example. This is an interesting one. So it has all these parameters. It also has a description here. Then you have the code that basically AI runs. So AI is going to call this tool using these parameters, and then it's going to get the result using this syntax. So this is something that exactly we're going to use as well. So let's go to our own update price. Yes, that's action. So what we have to do is give the AI a result. So AI result something. And then here we're going to run something. So in my case, what I want to do is not read something, but I actually want to write something. So I'm going to write on the list price of my product, the price that the AI is going to give me. So that would be basically something that I need to add to my schema. So I'm going to go back to the usage, make sure using AI is turned on. I'm going to add a new something here. So price is the price of the product taken from the website. So that's basically what I'm going to do. This needs to be a number, and it is required. So now what I've done is I've built a tool for AI to update my prices. Now that's a very simple code that you can see here. And then let's go to so now that we have our AI tool in place, what I want to do is actually use it in a workflow. In like now, Odoo doesn't have as a comprehensive thing as like an N8N or similar products, but you still can achieve a lot with our automation rules without paying extras. But because that's all Odoo does, is to, instead of buying multiple products, we have just one that has all you need. So let's create a new automation rule. I'm just gonna call it update product price. Again, it will be on the product model. The trigger will be on creation. So after the creation, I'm going to like basically create a product and then get the price and put it there. So that's what we're going to do. No delays. It's not going to be in a scheduled action. It's just going to run literally after it. It's going to apply on all products. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically use a automation rule here, which is the AI. And then here I'm going to give it the tool that I created, which is update product price. So now I've given the AI the tool that it needs. Then I'm going to create the prompt. So for the prompt, I'm going to go to this and fetch the price based on name, which is the field name. So it's going to take the name of my price, go to that web page and try to get the price based on that. Let's see if this actually works. Now, the Odoo pricing page may not be the best, like the easiest place to fetch prices. It might fetch like a random price, but it's a good enough example. So as you can see, now I have my action here. I can also add other actions, but now I have my automation rule created and in place. So now what's going to happen, we're going to go to my product, create a product card standard, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to save it. So after it's being saved, it should have triggered the automation, but let's see what went wrong, I guess. So we go back to automation rules, it's an AI. Perhaps this should be on create because that would be easier. We have the action, it has a tool, it has that, it has this. All right, perfect. And let's call it update price as well, I guess, makes it easier. Then what we're going to do is go back to the products and create it again. But I believe what we need to do is just go with standard. And as you can see here, now it's taking longer. And here it actually is going to tell you that it has updated the price with argument 24.9, and the result of the tool was true, which is correct. So now we have successfully pulled the price from here, which was 24.90. Probably that's in the is this one. So this is the price that it actually took from the web page, and it has successfully inserted here. So as you can see, I didn't give any intentions. Like, it's all about the prompt. I didn't give any intentions of don't put the reduced price, put the price that's like in bold red or something. Maybe I could have done that and it would have actually fetched that price. But basically this was something that, like an automation that we created. So first we create the tool. Let's take a look at it again. So server actions, AI. So you have the update product price tool, which is so here it should not be AI, so be careful. So this is a tool, it's not the AI action, it's the tool itself. It needs to execute a code and it needs to return some results to the AI. You can return anything that you want. And then you have writing the record, which is on the list price field. So how do I know if it's called list price? I can go to this is actually my local. Let's duplicate this. So we go to products, and if you have this one enabled, which is, so actually this one actually pulled it as well, I guess, because it was a delayed automation rule, not on creation but after creation. So I guess just schedule the action and did it after. But you see that you saw the difference. So for this one we actually had so for this one is actually created it after, which was there was a delay there, but we didn't have to stay on the page. But for this one, because it was on creation, when it was being created, we actually had to wait for it to finish loading and actually create a product. So even here you can see that there's like the same thing that was run twice had different results, and that's again all up to your prompt. So if the context is correct, you will probably see some success with that. Otherwise, it's going to be hard. Also, it especially depends on, so for this example, for example, it depends on how the page is structured. How can the LLM actually go there and find the price that you want? So that's something to keep in mind. Then we have, we still have our description here. I can just use that, and not sure if it's going to, okay, yeah, it gave me some interesting description there as well. So these are the two major ways that you can use AI in Odoo. One is like computed field, like AI fields, and then you have automations, AI tools, and then what we can use to actually, do things in Odoo. So we have not exactly a question, but a remark, I guess. So building AI manager, what a time to be alive. I guess you're a fan of 2-minute papers YouTube channel, but yeah, basically it is possible to like have like a whole workflow here and like an AI tool that checks tasks. And if somebody, so one thing that we have in Odoo actually is we have like a task pipeline for us, for getting tasks from the customers and then actually do something with that. And what's happening is that most of the time somebody is not filling the appropriate fields, so we have someone who's constantly checking and trying to warn people, okay, you did not fill this doesn't match that, the task doesn't have a sale order connected to it. So all of this, imagine, could actually be automated by using AI. So we could have an AI that maybe as a scheduled action, so every night at 2 a.m., let's say, it's going to check all the tasks and then check if there are any discrepancies based on the prompt. So yeah, that's, I would say, for the AI tools. So you have your tool created here, then you will have a server action of type AI. So that's important. So our server action was actually called update prices, as you can see, and this is actually type AI. So that's the difference between so all of them are server actions, but one is the tool that the AI uses, and the other one is actually the action that we are using to call the AI, which should be of type AI. And this is actually used in our automation rule. We have given it the tool that it needs, and if you remove this tool, it's not going to be able to update the record. And then here is the prompt that I'm saying, go to this specific website, fetch the price, and put it there based on the name. So that's, I would say, for the automation rules. We have another, let's say, question. So Haider, how can you send paperless invoice to UPS? In the Odoo documentation, there is an API explained, but I do not know what time and where I can upload the invoice, or is this done automatically somewhere? So this is a functional question. Let's say yes, the capability is definitely there, but to have like a tutorial on how to do that exactly, you probably have to wait until the next Odoo Insider in order to know that. So that's something that you can keep in mind. So let's see. We have already created our AI automation, and the next thing that we can do is to actually go back and see what the issue was with our on-premise thing. Maybe there was an issue there. So if you recall, not this one, so that's the on-premise thing. Let's go to our script. That's it. So here where we left off was basically we did the Odoo 17 enterprise and also design themes. And what I'm gonna do is basically run this again to make sure we have access to Odoo Enterprise on our local machine, because that's something that we didn't achieve last time. So Odoo .sh. And I'm just gonna run this, I guess. So let's do it again. So if you already have these directories here, it's not going to overwrite them. So it's okay to use odoo.sh delete, like the -d parameter. But also, one misconception that I guess partly could be on me is that Odoo.sh is our cloud platform, like the name of our cloud platform. The Odoo.sh here has nothing to do with that. SH is the shell script. It's like the extension in Linux file systems. So yeah, this actually, the script for now is for Linux. However, it is possible to again use the existing Docker Compose file to build your own and then maybe your own on-premise solution. You can actually do it with that. So let's check our Odoo 17 to make sure if we have that, and otherwise I guess we have to go try to troubleshoot the issue. So again, I'm gonna do a master password because I've deleted the data. Database name, I guess, as random email, and Odoo as the password, and also demo data and Belgium as the country. So I'm gonna create database, and great. So apparently we need to use a better database name. So 17 maybe. And I already have set the master password. Hopefully that's it. Otherwise we have to reset the whole thing. And Odoo, which is the demo data. Okay. Believe that was effective because apparently it's building it. We can obviously go into Docker as well. Okay. Admin. All right, because it's the thing that I set. That makes sense. Okay, so apparently there is an issue with the already existing version. So we're already we're not detecting the enterprise edition. Of course, we can always go into the logs. So let's go to the Docker PS, and let's go to the Docker logs of Odoo 17. Let's see if we can find a clue here as to why we're not getting it. So as I can see here, I have Odoo 17, I have mount extra add-ons, so these are the add-ons path. However, I'm not seeing the enterprise nor the design themes here. So that exactly right there is the issue. So if I go to my Docker file, let's see what the issue is. So let's go here, and I'm running Odoo 1, so version 1 enterprise is being mounted to enterprise and everything. However, this apparently is the issue where the Odoo add-ons path is not being correctly passed there. However, I see that from the logs again, I can see that we have the extra add-ons. So we're just going to try to use that until I fix it, hopefully after this. So as you can see, the mount extra add-ons is there on Odoo 17. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the enterprise modules in my extra add-ons. So this is something that you can also do with any add-on that you have. This directories, I think that was actually an interesting issue that arose to explain this, is that you don't actually have to have like one like separated add-on directories. You can have as many as you want. You can also put whatever add-on that you have there, provided that it's for the correct version. You can then install it on the other side. So I'm just gonna restart my Odoo 17. Probably have to recreate the database because the database was actually created in Community Edition, this one. So I'm just going to go to the database manager again to handle that. But that's the thing, it doesn't have to be called enterprise, but it just simply needs to be. So apparently we have to do that, and then 7. Then you have the password. Let's see if this one works, or do we have to check the logs again, maybe. So yeah, the point here is that you have the base add-ons. So if you look at the database creation and the logs, you have this line right here, which is the Odoo add-ons path, and of course the configuration file. You can also you see where that is. You can also change that in your Docker Compose file to another Odoo configuration. Maybe you want to change that as well. You see the version and the revision. That's also something that you might be interested at. It's using WKHTML to PDF, unfortunately, and hopefully that gets replaced by Paper Muncher sometime next year, hopefully. And then we have the add-ons directory here. So by default, you have the Odoo add-ons from the Python. Then you have the add-ons for the version 17. Then you have some extra add-ons here. You can add as many things as you want there, or you can put things even there. But it's always a good idea to have them separated for enterprise and the other ones. So here I'm just gonna go to that and Odoo and see if we have it, or we have to check the logs again. Actually, we do have it. Now there are some broken file systems going on there, which I probably have to fix as well. But basically, if I check now, you can see that I have Enterprise Edition. And because it's Enterprise, I do require a key for it. And the database expiration is actually November 22nd, 2025, which by that time, I actually have to have a, so this is basically a trial mode. The on-premise trial mode, unfortunately, does not come with like an AI key, the trial keys. That's why we actually went to our database right here for to actually try things out. But yeah, that's basically, I would say, how you can troubleshoot also your add-ons. So if you, the first is to check the logs to see if your add-ons path is actually there, it's being loaded. If it's not, there's probably an issue with the Docker Compose thing, which this one I'm going to fix after this Odoo Insider session. And apart from that, I would say, yeah, like this is something that you can use to run things. So I'm just gonna delete this, and yeah, that's it. So apart from these, I guess the only thing left to say is how we can, let's go back to our, I guess, AI thing. Perhaps we could take a look at the chatbots. Now, I don't exactly, to be honest, I don't remember which module that was, but let's see. Live chat, there it is. So this also is an enterprise feature, which honestly, I think you need to do a trial to see if everything works, and then obviously you can register or buy a subscription. If you already have one, you can register. So now that we have the chatbots, let's go here, and that's to your sessions that you have there. What I want to do is basically I want to create a agent. So the agent is going to be a live chat thing. So you have the widget, the rules, and also you have the options over there. You can also see all the visitors on your website, and you have the in the configuration file, this is what we're basically looking for, which are the chatbots. So you already have the default welcome bot. So Odoo, this is the classic Odoo chatbot that you have, which is it can be based on triggers, and you have like a bunch of answers there, and of course you have the steps going between the answers. This was available basically always, and you can of course test it as well. You can run the test here as well, but apparently what I see is that they haven't yet introduced this in this version, which would be the So you only have right now the canned responses and expertise, but once that feature is rolled out, you can actually have chatbots which have which actually allow you to have like AI underneath as well. Of course, Odoo itself, I think we have that on our own website, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not entirely sure where that is though. But let's see, contact us and support request maybe. Yeah, I don't exactly remember where the chatbot on our, oh yeah, okay, there it is. So ask Odoo AI. You can actually either submit a ticket or call us with an advisor, but here you can actually do that. So actually let's do that. So let's go with hello, how to send paperless invoice to UPS. Let's see actually that the question can be answered by AI. So I'm just going to wait, and apparently it does have an answer for me. So you have so once you integrate UPS with the Odoo database, here's how you enable paperless documents. So you have UPS UPS app credentials. So you first need that, then you need account association, then you need to have the app form, then you add the product, and it's also going to give you the references in the UPS here. So with the paperless documents options enabled, you can upload documents, images, and links. So this is something actually somewhere you can ask questions from. And I would say for now that that's basically the what we have on that front. So for the last thing, perhaps we could also do another quick tool for the AI. So right now I have I'm able to we learn how to actually use AI tools. So I'm gonna do just another one real quick for the end of the session. So I'm gonna go with AI and then update perhaps prices again. So for the model product, and this one is going to do is it's an AI tool, and I'm going to get again another price here. I'm going to set the price to the price for every product, something like that. Then you have the type, which is a number, so it should be fine. And here again I'm gonna go with AI results. We're gonna equal to let's see if we have access to this here. So environment product browse, like just search everything basically. So I want every product that there is whose price is going to be set to the price that we give it. So this is something that we're going to use to batch update every price, which might not be a useful thing that much, but the point is that we have this tool, and now we can go to our AI agent. I think it's just here. Oh wow, we have that there as well. That's interesting. So live chat AI agent, it is there. So it's response to the customer's queries. That's interesting. Let's actually check that out. So configuration is GPT 4.0. That's cool. Then you are helpful, blah, blah, blah. That's good. And if you hit tester, so I guess this was hidden there. This is actually what I wanted to show you, is the AI chatbot feature. So you can give it sources for it to actually answer your customers' inquiries. Interestingly, in the topics, I can actually create a new topic, products, prices, be able to update prices, get the price from user and set it, and then I'm gonna give it the AI tool that I just created, which was update prices. That's the one. So I just created a topic, I've given it a tool, and I don't need any sources I guess for now. And let's try this out. So in the test, I'll go with set the price to 50. Let's see if it actually works. So there's an error while trying to update the price. Let me try again. Could you please confirm the price which you want to set the price? All of them. Let's see if this actually works. It seems there was an error. So there is probably some underlying protections, let's say, to do these sort of things, which is you need to update the prices on your devices, on your products. But yeah, basically, it's all about the context. LLMs don't always do what you want. You have to be careful with them. Obviously, this is not a very good thing to do, to have like a script that enables you to set like mass prices to everything. But this is something that I thought that was interesting to show you around AI and how to use it in Odoo. I would say the most powerful feature is to understand. Most powerful feature is the AI tools, I think, because that would allow you to actually create a tool for the AI and then have it on an action or a scheduled action or automated action, and then be able to do that. And of course, you can put tools in the hands of the agents as well. So you can create the tools in order to tell it what to do. So that obviously requires some tweaking around with the instructions. So this one was not very successful, I would say, but that remains that you can actually create these prompts here as well. So these are also some sort of prompts. So if we go to the, so I have the code base of Odoo 19 here. If you just search for what's my agenda today, you can actually see examples. So what's my agenda today? This is actually a simple record in the AI prompt button. So if you create this as well, so if you can actually create these AI prompt buttons on your own. So if you just copy paste them inside a module or just add them directly from the technical menu, you would be able to add prompt buttons. So this is actually something that might be interesting for you to have like on your AI agent. And the way I could envision is that instead of trying to have one person for everything, you will try to build agents inside Odoo that operates through automations, operates through scheduled actions. And of course, you have manual tools, let's say, server actions, which can actually handle stuff on that end, and you can create a button prompt to do them, or you can chat with the assistant on the button right corner here to do things for you. So that's basically I would say how you can use AI in Odoo to empower your business, yourself, and your general workflow. From all of us here at Odoo, thank you again for tuning in to Odoo Insider. We basically have to cut it short now, but it was a pleasure presenting for you all these cool features, and hopefully see you in the next one.